Hi, I'm CJ Elmberg with Transwest Truck Trailer RV in Frederick, Colorado. So we've got a brand new Cimarron Norstar 2-horse bumper pull sitting behind me. A little backstory on this trailer is, unfortunately, it's not available. It is sold, but we've got a lot like it either here at the lot or on order coming in. But in this instance here, the customer was wanting something specific. This is at a point where we could still make a couple changes and really fit what the customer wanted. So we were able to do that. That's the nice thing about it, is we have so many Cimarrons on order in different packages, or if you want to build something, we can help you out there. So again, this is a 2024 Cimarron Norstar 2-horse bumper pull. Let's go ahead and take a look at the drawing. I'll show you some of the specs and how it's actually laid out. You're 15.5 foot on the floor. You're gonna end up with a 3-foot tongue on it as well. So you're 18.5 nose to tail on this guy. Your standard 7'1" tall and your standard 6'10" wide. This trailer is gonna come in about 3,200 pounds empty. So, you know, truly can be pulled with about, you know, all these new half-ton pickups. A lot of those SUVs, smaller SUVs, you know, you always have to make sure it's capable to tow something like this when it's loaded and actually have the correct braking, whether it's integrated brake controller or an aftermarket brake controller. But we could help you out with that if your vehicle's not equipped with that. So on this guy here, up here at the front, standard 2 5/16 coupler. So you'll need a 2 5/16 ball. It's really hard. I mean, we might have to, you know, get here when you come to hook up to see what type of a drop you need. Our parts department sells different drops. You know, typically on these guys here, it's somewhere in a 2 to 4 inch drop if you're dealing with one of those SUVs, a half-ton, something like that. Some pickups from those B&Ws. I've got one on my truck. It's really nice. It's a 5-inch, but it's adjustable. So we always want these trailers running level, but we'll help you out when you get here to pick it up, making sure you're running level on that. A standard Bulldog manual crank jack on this guy. Little taller foot as far as the actual stem itself, just because what we need is all these newer vehicles are taller. So a lot of times we're having to come and like actually block a trailer up because of the height of the vehicles. But they've come up with that foot right there. We like the foot rather than the wheel here on our lot because of the asphalt. These trailers can move a little bit. The wheel is a little bit more forgiving. If you're not dead center on this guy with the wheel, you can kind of maneuver it a little bit. If you want a wheel, we can help you get that through our parts department. But again, we like the foot on these guys here. So you got the tread plate, you know, protectant around the bottom there, and then we have the stainless sheeted nose. You'll also notice that this one is a white sheeted trailer. That's standard. So if you want to go to a silver metallic, charcoal metallic, black, sometimes we have a lot of those on order or on hand already. There is an upcharge from the white, but on this one here, it's going to have the standard white package. Now, we're looking at this front tack room, and the very first thing is this is an add-on, which is the fold-up step. We really like putting these on our inventory pieces, discussing it with customers, saying, hey, you know, believe me, you're not going to regret not having this step on here. It just makes the transition getting into the tack room so much easier, especially if you're actually carrying items in. You know, it does break up this distance from the bottom rail to that. You know, that's about 6-7 inches, somewhere roughly in there, that you're not having that additional step up into the tack room. You're gonna have this 42-inch wide door. You got a brush tray on it. This package here, sometimes customers like a door organizer. Maybe they want to put an additional brush tray, maybe some hooks. Something along those lines can be done there, but that brush tray is nice for your smaller miscellaneous items. Now, 42-inch wide door, this is where it comes into play, is when we actually go to swing out our swing-out saddle rack. So on this guy here, if you start noticing the distance of this door frame to where these items are going to be coming out, a lot of competitors run a 36-inch wide door where Cimarron does a 42. As you can see, I can get in and out of this tack room still, where if this was narrower, it'd be a little bit more difficult. But mainly when we're swinging it in or out, when our saddles are on it, dragging on this door frame itself. So it's nice to have that bigger, wider door that Cimarron puts on these. On this one here, since it's a 2-horse, we did 2 blanket poles, 2 saddle racks. These can be adjusted. I can change the sequencing if I want. You just loosen the nuts, slide them up and down, tighten them, or it does come out the top, and then again I can change the way it's actually set up. As we come into the tack room, this one's gonna have the rubber floor. We like that over the carpet just because the carpet will hold that odor, those stains over time. The rubber mat is more of a popular option there. And then as we get in here, a couple things. Up here on the roof, kind of towards the driver's side of this nose, you got a clothes rod here, so you can hang some clothes, hang some items out of the way. Spare tires located over there as well. On your partition wall, you got a couple sets of bridle hooks. These are aluminum powder coated, so these guys are really stout. These are designed by Cimarron, so I like the spacing, I like the depth off the wall, but I really like the height of it, just so you can stack a lot of items on these bridle hooks. And then the carpet behind it to protect everything so it's not actually rubbing on this aluminum sheet that's behind there. The last thing is give me a corner water tank. 25 gallon, it's just gravity feed. You fill at the top. It comes with a hose down here at the bottom. You've got a space to put a bucket underneath, but I like putting the hose onto the ball valve, and you can actually fill your buckets up outside rather than in the tack room. But it's nice to be able to carry that. If you go to an event and the hydrant's a long ways away and you don't have to pack buckets, maybe you have a horse that likes water from home, just traveling in the summer months, carrying water on board is definitely nice to have there. You are gonna have an LED light right above the tack. I said I was almost done, but I wasn't. LED light right above there. So plenty of coverage in this tack room here by having that guy on there. It's LED, so it's not a big power draw, but boy, does it put out a lot of lighting. I'll show you more of those in the stall area. There's a standard LED light, and then the OptiBrights. We just continued here to put the OptiBrights on our inventory, and now it's just become a standard package. So up at the top rail, same thing, talk about lights. There's a 16-inch awning light. You're gonna have one on each side of this trailer, and then a little bit smaller one at the back we'll show you. But it's nice to have these load lights, so if you're parked out here, got a horse tied up, or on the other side of the trailer tacking up, you actually have some light coverage there. As you can see, instead of bus windows, this one here had the drop windows. Again, we've got kind of some different combinations of these trailers. This instance here, we did the drops, get a lot more airflow. You still have a bus window within the drop window itself. So you could go ahead and shut this and then slide this guy if you want a little bit of airflow. But by having these drops on this hip side, you can create a lot of that air movement that's really gonna cool off the horses. Think about you on really hot days, no air movement, little breeze makes you feel better about life. That's the case here. I want you to pay attention to the framework. This is all from the edge of the window itself to the edge of the drop window. That is all framework. So these guys are built big and stout. A lot of other manufacturers will have a prefab window that just drops. It's like a piece of paper in your hand. These guys here have welded hinges with grease zerks. I mean, you can shake the entire trailer with these guys here. So, speaking of, there's those welded hinges with grease zerks. They're gonna be on your tack door, your rear doors, and then these feed door options here. So we can maintain these if they get a little squeaky, rather than just a welded hinge that you have to heat up and try to get that actually lubricant throughout the whole hinge itself. Bolt-on fender. So if we ever run into an issue or we tear up a fender, it's gonna save you a lot of time, a lot of money, because it's bolt-on rather than weld-on. Weld-ons you have to cut off, re-weld the new one on. These are a lot quicker and save you a lot more money by swapping them out. Two 3,500 pound Dexter rubber torsion axles. Again, it's about 3,200 pounds, so more than enough axle underneath here. 15-inch aluminum wheels, the black with silver. I think it ties in well with the extrusion, the windows. It's just a good look to it. And then you're gonna get Goodyear 10-ply tires on these guys. No, 1 year, no questions asked warranty on these tires. So if you catch a nail, you have a blowout, road debris, they will replace it 1 year from the date in which you purchased it. So that is through Lion's Head, not through Cimarron. Lion's Head is their vendor for wheels and tires. And again, we can help you out with that process. So electric brakes as well. Mentioned that earlier. Making sure you have an integrated brake controller or an aftermarket on your tow vehicle, or your brakes do not work. So I'd have to go back over all the notes, but in this instance here, you know, maybe this one didn't have the rear ramp and the customer wanted it. Like I mentioned, it was at a point where we could still make some changes. But as you can see, rear ramp over the the rear doors. So the ramp over type option. Maybe you got somebody that likes a ramp load. Maybe you have somebody that just wants to use this for other things as well. Haul some, you know, four-wheelers, those type of items. It's nice to have that. But rear ramp on this, we could always add rear ramps to trailers here. So just because it doesn't have one, don't think we can't do that. It's just removing the rubber bumper and then putting the actual ramp on it itself. There's that 8-inch awning light I was telling you about. So you have one here at the back. Butt strap that goes across this big opening. We have 60/40 doors. Right hand door is a little bit bigger than the left hand, so if you're only wanting to work off of one side of the trailer, your larger doors over here on right for your load and unload. Since it's a 2-horse, 1 divider, solid with pads. If you notice when I let it go, it's trying to pull towards driver's side because of that big spring at the bottom. Cimarron tries to make everything a one-handed operation. You can lead a horse and operate the gate, with the divider shutting and closing it. Real simple. It's on a paddle latch, slam latch. Over here on the wall, everything's recessed. This is an aluminum powder-coated piece here with a heavy UHMW plastic paddle latch, so we don't have that metal-to-metal contact, creating a lot of rattle for the horses when you're in transit. 2-way roof vents, one above each horse so we can manipulate airflow. You got a lot going on. You have these drop windows on the head side. We'll show you when we get to the outside. These 2-way roof vents, and on top of that you have that insulated roof. So that's standard on every single Cimarron. That stuff is stout. It'll take substantial hail. I can walk on it. It takes 150 pounds per square foot. We have hailstorms here in Colorado. We've had some here at our lot. The aluminum sheeted trailers have gotten damaged. For on the Cimarrons, we don't. It can happen, but it's substantial hail we're having to look at there. But also what it does is this insulated roof keeps the stall area about 20% cooler than those aluminum sheeted roofs. So it makes a massive difference in, again, just the overall temperature in these stall areas for horses. Our mule customers say that their mules will get in, ears pinned back, and they'll reach up in the summer and touch that roof. And a lot of times on those aluminum sheeted roofs, when it's really hot, it conducts that heat. They'll keep their ears pinned back. Where on the Cimarrons, they say they get in, they'll touch it with their ears and realize it's not near as hot to the touch. So they're a little bit more comfortable in there. So definitely a nice feature there. Again, that's standard on every single Cimarron. On the flip side of it is the best floor on the market. So 4-inch centers. So these centers run across the trailer the full length. So wherever we're standing, a horse is standing, they're standing on a support beam. So you don't get those pits in there that's going to collect that urine and start to corrode. On top of this is going to be worm flooring. So this customer said, hey, I want worm flooring. Again, it was at a point we could delete the rubber mats. We actually brought it here to Colorado and went to the local worm dealer and had it installed there. But this is permanent, unpenetrable, so urine doesn't get down to the floor. So again, on aluminum trailers, you need to really watch your floors and make sure they get cleaned and just protecting your investment. In this instance here with the worm flooring, you don't have to worry about it because it won't get down there. And on top of that, it's got a lot of grip to it, and it's really nice just for the horses. And then again, if you're not having to clean the floors, you're not having to pull those mats out and wrestle those guys. As we work our way to driver's side, like I mentioned, 16-inch awning light on each side. So again, you have that light coverage on either side of the trailer itself. There's a good look at the drop windows, these feed doors here. On driver's side, you're gonna have the jail bar option. So these guys will drop down if you want. If you want screens, you can get those through Cimarron. Same thing, these are these big, heavy-duty framed windows, welded hinges with grease zerks. Everything's key to like. So all these latches, rear doors, tack door, everything has one key. And one of the last pieces is a drip rail. That's actually above your windows and then your tack door. This is an extruded piece of aluminum that Cimarron builds specifically for these trailers. They don't go to the scrap pile and just grab a piece of aluminum and say, all right, let's tack it above the door for these drop windows. But as you can see, we had moisture overnight. We'll get really cold. We're still getting some snow and it'll melt really quick. But then overnight it'll freeze. So that drip rail is going to try to keep that moisture away from getting into that feed door, trying to work its way in there. It's that weather stripping, freezing up, so it's really hard for you to open. In this instance here, again, it's nice to have those type of features, especially when we're living in these states here. So again, unfortunately, this trailer is not available today, but it is a good reference for you. You can see some of the add-ons we can do. We can show you, again, maybe a trailer is at a point where we can still make some changes, or we can add some stuff after the fact for you. But I'll give you the stock number for reference. Maybe you want the exact trailer, maybe you just want it in a different color. Again, it's a 2024 Cimarron Norstar 2-horse bumper pull, 5N240088. So we do take trade-ins, whether you're looking to upgrade, downsize. Financing is available, and delivery is an option, so we could potentially bring these trailers right to your door. So give us a call. Anybody on our sales team can help you out. That number is 303-684-3400. We appreciate you tuning in. Have a good day.